How do you become, maybe not confidence, but Godfidence? Like, how do we do it?
Godfidence is reinforced. It is not something that happens one time and then you just live the rest of your life out in confidence. So, confidence is reinforced. Mujeres, escúchame. It's reinforced. It happens again and again and again and again.
¿Alguna vez te has preguntado qué tan importante es la adoración? Quédate a ver este episodio para descubrir los beneficios de la adoración. Mujeres victoriosas, bienvenidas a un episodio más. ¿Alguna vez te has preguntado qué tan importante es la adoración en nuestra vida? El día de hoy vamos a estar platicando con Doe Jones, quien ha sido nominada a los GRAMMYS. El día de hoy va a ser un episodio súper especial y un poquito diferente, ya que estaremos teniendo este episodio un poquito de Spanglish, un poquito de español, un poquito de inglés, pero esperamos que lo disfrutes. Hoy le damos la bienvenida a Doe Jones a Mujeres Victoriosas Podcast. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Hola, Mujeres Victoriosas. I'm so glad to be here and thank you for having me.
And well, it's been quite a journey for you, Doe. You've been nominated. You had 3 Grammy nominations, and that is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how do you feel? ¿Cómo te sientes?
Yeah.
Es tu primer álbum y where were you when you heard, you know what, you've been nominated? What was that like?
Yes, me siento emocionada.
Yes.
¿Sí? Y, I'm excited. I'm thankful. One of my brothers got nominated within this as well. So I'm glad that I get to share it with my family as well. And we just had a blast last night, and watching everybody win. My friends are the ones who won that were in the category with me. And so one of the things I said is when your friends win, you win. And so it's just been a really great journey.
Absolutely. And I think it's a huge deal to be recognized. And it means that you're doing something right and you're putting quality out there. And I think that's amazing. I love every time I tune in and I'm listening to upcoming artists, I love to just be able to witness the heart behind their music, but also the excellence. And I can say that about your music, about your team. So congrats to you guys on that.
Thank you.
And let's talk a little bit about your background. I know growing up, you grew up in the church.
Yeah.
Your parents were pastores, right? So tell us a little bit about your upbringing in the church. What was that like?
Sí, mis padres eran pastores en Yakima, Washington, y su iglesia estaba bilingüe, y all of us cantamos en inglés y español in the services, and we would have a Spanish-speaking service and then an English-speaking service, y mis padres predican en español también, y ahora in Irving, Texas, they're pastors as well of a bilingual church, so...
And that's where you get your Spanish from,
That's
right?
where I learned it. Yeah, that's kind of my background with learning, singing in Spanish, worshiping in Spanish, really. So, yeah.
I love that. I think it's amazing the fact that your parents were able to preach, to be able to serve our community, our Spanish-speaking community is beautiful. Yeah. And now to kind of see you use what you learned growing up and now being able to kind of step into Spanish music, I think that's wonderful. How has that been the challenge for you?
Not a bad challenge, a good challenge, because when we were getting to know each other, I was telling you, when we moved to Louisiana from Yakima, I didn't have as much exposure to the Latin community, and we missed that. And so my Spanish is really rusty, but I'm going to show off a little bit for y'all today. Yeah. But it was like really good for me to get back into, singing and worshiping in Spanish. And, it adds to the whole understanding that God can be worshiped in every language, even more so because there are words in your language that we don't have in mine that can be used to glorify God.
I love that. And I love that perspective. And I know that as you continue your career, both English and Spanish, you'll continue to grow. And I feel like our Spanish speaking community is loving your music. And I've heard it's been top in all the different radio stations, and they're requesting the songs. How does it feel just to feel the love of a whole new community?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, the fact that I was a little bit nervous, because I really wanted to be respectful with this. Yeah. And I wish I came in fully, fluent. Yeah. You know what I mean? So just the fact that everyone is just so open to me worshiping in their language, it's very kind. And I'm very thankful for that. Yeah.
What was it like working with Blanca? I know you have a song with her, and I mentioned her because we've had her on Mujeres Victoriosas podcast, and it was a great episode. She was amazing. She has a beautiful voice, just like you. How was it working with her?
Yeah, so actually we recorded these separately. But I have met Blanca before.
Yeah,
and she is so nice, and she's so like you. She had you could just tell she just got that edge. You know what I mean? And I love that because I got my own little edge, you know. And so we get along really well, and I want to do some more work with Blanca. And I've been listening to Blanca since she was doing Group 1 Crew. So I've always loved Blanca's voice. Yeah.
I know Lily Goodman es un ícono en la música cristiana en español. I mean, if you grew up in the church, you're like, I know who Lily Goodman is. I know those songs. I cried with Lily Goodman. I've praised. I mean, you know who she is. And you worked on a song with her, Cuán Bueno. Mm-hmm. And it's so good. It's so upbeat. I love it. Yes, it has that Latin flavor to it.
Nice.
Let's talk a little bit about that. How was the whole process of working with Lily Goodman?
Yeah, so she is the only duet that I have not gotten to meet in person yet.
Okay.
We filmed that. We recorded that separately as well. But the one thing I can say, and that I've said in every interview, is you can tell a lot about a person by how they approach a song, right? And she felt like she really understood the message and took it in. Because it's one thing to just sing lyrics like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. But she really understood the message of the song. And from what I can feel about her, I really love her spirit.
Yeah. Oh, she's wonderful. I haven't met her yet, but we should, meet her. Yeah. We might have her in the studio soon, hopefully.
I love that.
Yeah. But I love how worship and praise has been part of your life. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's throw it back a little bit. And I do know that this was not your first Grammy nomination. This was your first Grammy nomination as a solo artist, but you do have background in growing up in the church and singing with your family. Tell us a little bit about that and that group, and what was it like?
Yeah. First of all, I brought my brothers with me to the studio today, so we obviously still hang out on a regular. But we just were like young kids in the industry with our parents. Everybody sang and played, and the band kind of started like this. My dad would wake us up every morning and be like, hey, you guys got to come downstairs for 9 a.m. prayer in the summers, and then during school, like it would be 7 sometimes, but on Saturdays at 9 a.m. And he'd be like, you're not just going to come down and be silent. Like, I want you to play before the Lord and sing before the Lord. So that's how that was our first introduction even to like songwriting and understanding that there are no rules in this space, that we can just write what we feel to God.
No te vayas, paso por aquí para invitarte a que nos ayudes a compartir este episodio de Mujeres Victoriosas Podcast. Y si nos estás escuchando desde YouTube, te animo a que te suscribas y nos ayudes a llegar a nuestra meta de 60,000 suscriptores.
And I grew up in that, and then being a pastor's kid, your parents saying, get up there and lead, being a part of every ministry in the church. I done been an usher. I've been in children's ministry.
Youth pastor?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, my upbringing really just prepared me for whatever type of interaction I might have in this industry. But yeah, we got nominated for 2 Grammys on our first album.
That's wonderful. And there's something so special about worshiping as a family. You know, I think that is, whether that is with your parents, your children, brothers and sisters, or even with your spouse, you know, I think there's something so beautiful about being able to serve the Lord with the people you love the most. It's so special. And I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Tell us a little bit about what does worship and praise mean to you outside of everything we get to see, because we get to see the Grammy, we get to see your amazing outfit, we get to see like all the interviews that you do, and we get to see all the glam behind praise and worship. But let's talk about, what does it mean to you outside of that? If that was taken away, what does that mean for you?
Yeah, I think honestly, you know, the definition of worship is living a lifestyle that is in partnership with God and the Holy Spirit, all the way through from the moment you wake up until you go to bed. And I was just telling someone, I don't want the first time I talk to God in a day to be right before I go on stage, like, oh, please show up, please anoint this service. You know, everything that I sing about and do needs to be an overflow of my relationship with Him. And that's how you protect yourself from faking or becoming someone you don't want to be, is allowing Him access to every area of your life and in every moment to speak to you and say, hey, you need to be kinder here, or hey, you know. And that's how you see the fruits of the Spirit in your life. If you're not seeing the fruits of the Spirit, then maybe you're not really taking advantage of the relationship that you've been given access to. And so it's just taking full advantage of the access we have on this side of the covenant.
I love that. I love that. And that's powerful. That's a very powerful message. I know that being a woman in ministry, it's hard enough. And I think everyone talks about being confident, about making things happen and go out there and make it happen for you. But to be honest, like, if I have to be real, I'm not always confident. Yeah. There's times where, I mean, God sends me to do things and I'm just like, man, I'm going to do it, God, out of obedience, but I don't feel like I'm ready for it. I don't feel like I'm equipped. I don't even think I'm going to do a good job, to be honest, but here I go. And it's so hard to be confident. What would your message be to all those women out there and all those girls that are watching or listening to this podcast? How do you become, maybe not confidence, but Godfidence? Like, how do we do it?
Yeah. Godfidence is reinforced. It is not something that happens one time and then you just live the rest of your life out in confidence, never having to reinforce it again. It's something that is continually built, because the thing that and God should always be your confidence, but there are things that we feel good about in our lives, right? But then your life changes, you know, you become a mother, you change your career, and all of a sudden those other things that you're really excited about that maybe were a part of the confidence for you are not there. You know, and so I think God allows those movements in our lives because He wants us to be reminded that, oh, I can't lean on my voice. I have to lean on Him. Or, oh, I can't lean on my humor in situations where I'm in a room with a bunch of women. Like, I have to learn how to go deep in conversation too. But my confidence can't be in, you know what I mean? So there's too many changes in life for us to just lean on one thing. And so, yeah, like, just consistently, and that's what I'm saying. My life is the evidence, has to be the evidence of my relationship with Christ. He's got to be able to enter into those moments where I feel insecure and say, I'm here with you. You may not feel like you even fit in this room, but you didn't just arrive here. I sent you here. And you go in my name. You know, He's got to have access to my ears in every situation. So confidence is reinforced. Mujeres, escúchame. It's reinforced. It happens again and again and again and again. So just be ready to continue to find a new scripture for a new season in your life, you know, or a new rhema word from God for a new season in your life.
Oh, I love that message. I receive it. It's beautiful. When it comes to future plans, what can we expect from Doe? Should we expect more español, música en español? What should we be expecting or be on the lookout for?
Please expect that from me.
Yay!
Put the pressure on.
Yes, please.
I want to do a lot more music in español. And I know we're going on tour and from March to May with Lecrae and Elevation. That'll
Ooh.
be fun. Yeah. You know, I would really like to start incorporating more Spanish songs into my sets. You know, every time I do, somebody is like, oh, she's worshiping in my language.
Yes.
And I know how much that means to me as an African American when someone does one of our songs.
Yes.
You know, so yeah, just I'm writing for my next album. We're producing it out. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you did have a full out tour, sold out tour. So that's amazing. I mean, good for you. And I mean, I do follow you on social media, so I do get to see all the cool stuff that you share with us. So my only suggestion would be like, yeah, maybe on social media have a little bit more Espanol stories, IG stories in Spanish.
Okay, I could do that.
Yes, that would be amazing. But honestly, we love you here. We love you in Mujeres Victoriosas. And we would love to finish this episode off with, I don't know, maybe a little bit of Cuán Bueno or anything. I know it's the day after the Grammys, right? Yeah. Okay, maybe something else. Maybe not even Spanish, anything else.
I know a Spanish song. I mean, I know mine, but I've only sang Mi Oración in a live setting.
Oh.
And I would not want to butcher it. I don't want to butcher it here.
Not here, but maybe a phrase in Spanish for the Mujeres Victoriosas.
No, I only know stuff like Dios te bendiga.
That's one. What else do you want, girl? Yes.
I don't know. I mean, give me something to say. I know there is a song I can sing. It's just like a regular worship song.
Let's do that.
Okay. Tú mereces la gloria y la honra. Levantamos nuestras manos, te adoramos. Levantamos tu santo nombre. Tú mereces la gloria y la honra. Levantamos nuestras manos, te adoramos. Levantamos tu santo nombre. Tú eres grande. Tú haces milagros tan grandes. No hay nadie como tú. No hay nadie como tú.
Doe Jones in the house. Doe and Mujeres Victoriosas. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. And I have nothing else to add to this episode. You're amazing. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I could go on, but I do know you have to catch a flight. So thank you so much for your time today and the whole team that's here with you. Mujeres Victoriosas, si disfrutaste este episodio, por favor, compártelo con alguien más. Dale like a nuestro canal de YouTube y suscríbete para que puedas encontrar más información acerca de Doe y más información acerca de su música. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Bendiciones. ¿Estás lista para adorar a Dios y gozar de los beneficios de su presencia en tu vida? Déjanos saber en los comentarios de qué manera adoras a nuestro Señor.